You must begin where all blades begin, the dark earth, buried beneath years of pressure, untouched, unseen, unformed. Imagine crude steel lying beneath the soil, heavy, impure, laced with fractures no eye can see. This is what a man's mind looks like before he chooses to confront himself. Not polished, not holy, not disciplined, just potential, trapped beneath layers of doubt and forgotten instincts. Most men never dig deep enough to touch it. Swordsmiths of old would lift raw metal to the light, studying every imperfection with a gaze that did not flinch. They understood a sacred truth. A blade is only as strong as its hidden flaws allow. Impurities do not disappear when ignored. They wait, they hide, and when pressure comes, they split the steel apart. Modern men do the opposite, voiding their weaknesses, hiding their fractures, pretending the cracks aren't there. But you cannot become dangerous by running from what breaks you. Musashi taught that a warrior begins by knowing the material he is made of, not the mask, not the performance. The material, the instincts you try to silence, the fears you bury, the anger you pretend you've mastered. These are not enemies. They are ingredients. When a man refuses to face them, he shatters at the first strike of life's hammer. A conflict, a failure, a betrayal, one moment of pressure, and the unexamined mind fractures like thin glass. Before you can train your mind, you must lay it bare. You must hold your own inner metal to the light, the way a swordsmith inspects crude or no hiding, no softening, no excuses. This is the first cut of the journey. Honesty, sharp enough to draw blood. You cannot shape what you will not face. Every blade is born in fire, but not the fire you imagine, not rage or frenzy or motion. The real forge begins in absolute stillness, a quiet so heavy you can feel it pressing against your bones. Musashi retreated into silence to temper his mind, because he understood that a man cannot hear himself when the world is loud. And the world today is louder than ever. Notifications, noise, endless chatter designed to scatter your attention like sparks on cold stone. The ancient forge burned with rhythm, the slow bellows feeding the flames, the gentle pulse of heat rising, the pause before the hammer fell. Stillness was not the absence of movement, it was the preparation for creation. In that fire, metal softened, it surrendered to transformation. You, too, must enter your forge. In the silence, your impulses climb out from the shadows. Your fears start whispering. The truths you drown in distraction finally step forward. This is why modern men run from quiet. They are terrified of meeting themselves without an escape. Musashi understood that mental discipline does not begin with action. It begins with absence, with the intentional return to breath, to solitude, to stillness so uncomfortable it peels the noise from your mind. This is the fire that reveals who you really aren't, the performed self, but the raw, molten self beneath it. Stillness burns away the lies. Stillness exposes the fractures. Stillness tempers the will. In this forge, you begin to change. Not dramatically, not loudly, but internally, like steel beginning to glow before the first strike. The world may see nothing at all, but inside, something is beginning to melt, to soften, to yield to a new shape. When you embrace stillness, you do not become weaker, you become ready. Once the steel glows, the hammer begins its work. Slow, steady, unremarkable. Strike after strike, each one shaping what lies beneath. The hammer does not ask for attention. It does not need applause. Its rhythm is ancient, patient, relentless. Musashi lived by this rhythm. He drilled the same movements thousands of times, long after other warriors grew bored. He understood the law of mastery. Repetition is the quiet force that bends the mind into strength. But modern men flee from repetition. They crave shortcuts, novelty, dramatic change. They want transformation without ritual, growth without grind. But the blade is not forged through excitement. It is forged through monotony. Every habit you practice is a strike of the hammer. Every disciplined moment, every repetition, every return to your task is another blow shaping the mind. This process is quiet, invisible, almost humiliating in its simplicity. But this is where real strength is built. Repetition trains your mind to obey intention over emotion. When the hammer falls, the steel does not choose how to respond. It yields, it takes shape. When you repeat a discipline long enough, your mind begins to yield the same way. Resistance fades. Instinct strengthens. What once felt impossible becomes natural. This is the hidden path of mastery. The 1,000 unseen strikes that no one applauds. The work that happens when no one is watching. The deliberate shaping of your mind through the small, continuous choices that form the architecture of your character. Do not fear repetition. Fear the life that never changes because you avoided it. When the steel is hot glowing with potential, it is thrust suddenly into icy water. The shock is violent. The hiss is sharp. In that instant, the blade is tested. It either hardens or it cracks. Life performs this ritual on every man. One moment you are warm with progress, confident in your direction. The next, you are plunged into cold, adversity, failure, betrayal, loss, pressure that catches you unprepared. Modern men fear this plunge. They avoid difficulty, insulate themselves from discomfort, pray that the water never comes. Ancient warriors were different. They sought challenges to temper their minds. They ran toward adversity because they knew no blade sharpens without contrast, heat and cold, comfort and discomfort, progress and pain. Musashi fought real opponents with real steel, but his greatest victories came from his calm mind in violent moments. When pressure closed in, he did not break. He did not panic. He did not fracture. He had already been quenched by hardship long before the battle began. When you face pressure, when life plunges you into its cold water, your mind reveals its true structure. Do you bend? Do you crack? Do you harden? Resistance builds resilience. Avoidance breeds fragility. A blade that has never been quenched is beautiful, but unreliable. So is a man who has avoided discomfort his entire life. The quenching is not punishment. It is preparation. After forging and quenching, the blade is strong but not yet precise. It carries the marks of its journey, the scars of heat and hammer. To become sharp, it must face the stone. Sharpening is friction, a slow, deliberate scraping of steel against a rough surface. It is not dramatic. There is no roar of fire or ring of metal, just the quiet rasp of resistance shaping an edge. This is the phase most men avoid because sharpening forces you to confront the pain. Musashi believed that suffering contains instruction, but only for the man willing to observe it. Pain is not chaos. Pain is information. Every wound has a shape. Every failure has a lesson. Every regret has a direction. But modern men drown their pain in distraction, shame, or denial. They hide their scars instead of studying them. The warrior does the opposite. He uses them. Reflection is the sharpening stone. Journaling, speaking honestly with yourself, examining your failures without decoration or self-pity, asking the questions you fear the most. This process hurts not because you are weak, but because you are being refined. Pain is not your enemy. Blindness is. When you sharpen the mind, you learn to cut through illusion. You stop misreading situations. You see your patterns clearly. You understand your motives, your instincts, your triggers. Precision replaces confusion. Musashi sharpened his sword before every battle, not because it was dull, but because he knew sharpness decays without attention. Your mind is the same. If you do not sharpen it with reflection, it grows blunt, and a blunt mind is more dangerous to its wielder than to any enemy. Let your pain become your clarity. Let your wounds refine your edge. A blade can be beautiful, polished, admired, but the truth of it lies only in the edge. The swordsmith knows this. He does not judge the weapon by how it looks, but by what it does. A man is the same dot. Your results, your discipline, your choices, your relationships, your habits are the edge of your mind. They reveal the sharpness you truly possess, not your intentions, not your theories, not your fantasies. The edge does not lie. Musashi's victories came not from ideology, but from what he could do, from the precision of his strikes, from the discipline of his training, from the clarity of his mind. Modern men often hide behind talk, big plans, big dreams, endless explanations. They polish the surface while avoiding the reality of the edge. But when pressure comes, when opportunity appears, when conflict emerges, the truth rises. Are you sharp or dull? There is no middle state. Bluntness is exposed instantly. Do not measure yourself by what you wish you were. Measure yourself by the cut you make in the world. Your life is the blade you've been forging in silence. The results are the edge you've earned. The edge tells the truth you try to avoid. There is a final paradox in training. The Minda truth Musashi understood better than any warrior of his time. The mind must become both the blade and the hand that guides it. Sharp enough to cut through confusion, controlled enough not to cut yourself. The warrior is the steel shaped by heat, hammered by discipline, hardened by adversity. But he is also the swordsman, the calm presence, the deliberate will, the silent master, directing the strike. Most modern men possess one, but lack the other. Some are all instinct with no control, ruled by impulse. Others are all control with no edge, too timid to act. To become whole, you must be both. Musashi spoke of harmony between instinct and intention. A blade that is sharp but uncontrolled is dangerous. A mind that is calm but unsharpened is useless. Mastery is not force. Mastery is alignment, the fusion of the weapon and the wielder. Your training does not end. Forging, quenching, sharpening, wielding, this is a cycle you repeat for a lifetime. Each season of your life calls for a new edge. Each challenge demands a new level of control. The mind is never finished. It is always becoming. And yet, when you walk this path long enough, something quiet happens. A shift, a clarity, a steadiness that cannot be faked. Your mind becomes a blade that cuts through chaos, but your spirit becomes the hand that chooses when and where to strike. This is the final lesson. A sharp mind changes your life. A guided mind changes your destiny.